Do you find that strange at all? All these different people groups from all over the world, from Singapore to China to California to Africa to Russia, who are all worshiping the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
I can't disagree that it's interesting that so many different stories in the history somehow are related to this piece of land.
When we were talking earlier about a worldwide population of non-Jewish people and Jewish people that know Jesus, who've had their sins forgiven and honor and worship the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, you are seeing this actually come to its fulfillment. This Yeshua is not foreign to you. This Yeshua is from your people.
Now I have the answer.
You have the answers.
This is a special moment.
So what's up, guys? I'm back here with Lior. You might recognize him from one of the previous videos. Thank you for joining me once again. What I noticed was from our first conversation that was really open and really respectful, you are a truth seeker, but you did say that you had never read the New Testament before.
Correct.
You heard about it.
Yes.
But you hadn't read it yet. The first question I have for you is, have you been curious about it anymore or looking into it at all since the last time we spoke?
I have found myself, I was recently in the US, I did ask some people that I met along the journey in the US about if they're religious, why are they religious? What drives them? What excites them? Why do they follow certain traditions? So
you're less concerned about which religion itself or religion itself, more about values.
Yes.
What drives people, how people get along, how people love each other, how people can actually respect each other more and communicate better. Is that accurate?
Yeah.
Last time you talked about being a good person.
Yes.
And I think that's a great idea. To be a good person, I think people should strive to be, I guess, better than they are. The question I have regarding that is, according to who and what standard would you call something good?
Yeah. It's a tough question. To me, like the way I see, being good or being bad, it's a lot about the values you grow up into as well as the objective truth of what makes us good citizens of this planet. And I think there's a lot of the 10 Commandments, like a lot in the 10 Commandments that actually make sense regardless of which religion you're from. But when I look at my truth and the way I perceive life and what's good, I really try to follow what I've seen in my journey, what I've seen in my family's journey, as well as the community I'm a part of. And the definition of good is so subjective today that if you try to follow one source, you may be missing out. If we let ourselves follow hard rules and hard books, it's dangerous. Even if we have principles and definitions of what's good, we always challenge them. And that's why I enjoyed our conversations, because I think you're the kind of person that loves challenging even what he's being told by certain philosophies.
Absolutely. Do you think that people are internally good by nature, or is it something that they struggle with?
So there is research in this space as well that shows, I think I recently saw a video of like a dad and a mom, and then the kid gets 3 pieces of candy and the mom doesn't have one and the dad doesn't have one, and does the kid share or does he not share? And that experiment in that example did show that the kid chose to share. So I do think in us there's good, but there's also bad. And our DNA, as well as the journey we have during our childhood, is what eventually helps us go in the right or the wrong direction.
Yeah, what about the kid that takes the thing from the other kid and then hits him with it?
Yeah. I think it's sad, but it's interesting if you look at even in that example, that there's so many good people that do bad things as well, right? Yeah. You and I spoke about it last time. You and I have done some things in our lives that probably I don't know if regret, but let's say
I regret. Absolutely.
I try to I don't know why I have this thing where I don't like saying I regret, because I am as a person to love who I am. Yeah. And if I regret things that I've done, does it mean that I don't love myself? No. So I try to learn from mistakes I've made. Yeah. But regret is I think it's a big word, regret. Yeah. So I like it. Do you
I think we have a built-in conscience that tells us what right and wrong. That if we feel guilty about something, that we should feel guilty. We should feel a certain matzpun, we should feel a certain nudge inside that says that was wrong, don't do that again. And I think that's okay. See, I like to differentiate between a mistake and a sin. Because somebody will be saying, I made lots of mistakes when I was younger.
But what if someone is, sinful time and time again? Yeah. Does that make them a bad person? In some incidences, I've seen that criminals tend to get closer to religion. Right. Does that exonify them from the sins they've done?
No, the Bible says that you're guilty. God will not exonerate the guilty. So, which means that you have a problem. If you've sinned, and you sinned against humanity, and you sinned against God, you can't clear yourself. First of all, there's human consequences that we have to face on this planet. So there are people that turn to God, but they still face the consequences for what they've done here and now. Our own deeds incriminate us.
Yep.
We can't make them righteous by doing good deeds. We can't do something to exonerate our own selves for doing the bad thing that we did. The good thing that we're supposed to do is something that we were born to do. We're supposed to do those things. When somebody does something wrong, they're violating God's law.
Yes.
Okay? So the person has to be held accountable for that. And so it's like you at some point you have to pay for the thing that you have done.
Okay.
So paying for what you've done doesn't mean I go do a bunch of good things. So I can give you an example. Let's say somebody who was abusive to children for many, many years decides to change their ways and open up an orphanage and take care of children. Mm-hmm. You can't take care of enough children to deal with or overcome or exonerate yourself from all the damage that you did prior.
Yep.
Now in the Tanakh, there are sins that are paid for through the blood of another animal, which is substitution, meaning they bear your pain and punishment. Because it's
in Hebrew.
Yeah, so because the Bible says the soul that sins will die.
Okay.
But there are sins where your life is required of you. And the only reason that we are able to still continue living and have an opportunity to be in a right relationship with God is because of Him, not because of what we do.
I get it.
Okay, so we have the good that we're supposed to do, but then we have all the other stuff. And if I keep piling on more good according to my own standard, or even according to the biblical standard, then you're trying to work with weights and balances, saying, okay, now I've done so much good that I deserve to be in right relationship with you. I deserve heaven. I deserve to be reunited with you. That's what the Bible calls self-righteousness, meaning I do it. I get there. Not God, I get it. And so if you look through the Tanakh, you look through the Bible, you'll see throughout the narrative that God forgives His people, not because of what they do, but because of who He is. So if people in their own humanity are good and bad, do bad things, hurt people, sin against God and the world, but occasionally do good things too,
yeah.
Where do you think that moral standard that you appeal to comes from?
Well, I think in the case of myself and the way I live life, I think it's driven from the community I'm within. So first of all, the family cell, then the friends around me, then the organization I'm part of that I choose to be associated with, then the country or the city I live in.
Yeah.
So in the end, I think it's kind of a list of communities and groups that I decide or that I'm born into being associated with.
Right.
And then I aim to be as respectful as I can to all the members and all the rules that I choose to obey by.
Okay.
And then in the end, I try to be the best version I can of myself within that community.
Okay.
To be a contributing factor to the community, to be a force of good, to help others around me and help them find the best version they can of themselves. And also I believe in love. I really believe I believe in the power of love. So like, for example, I really believe that the people I've met in my life that have fulfilled their potential the most are those that received love when they were young.
Yeah.
And that's why I think also as a parent, your biggest role, and my wife is now 7 months pregnant, like she just finished their 6th one.
Amazing.
I think it's so much about just, giving love, giving free love, supporting and letting whoever is your child to feel that love so that they can fulfill whatever it is that they're meant to do in this planet, which we as parents, we don't know.
Right.
We think we know, but we can't know.
Okay, so for instance, I'm raising my children to love the neighbors around them.
Yes.
But to hate the neighbors across the way.
That's bad.
Why is that bad? Like, why is that wrong for them?
Because we're part of another community, which is called planet Earth.
Yeah.
And the way I see it, I'm also a part of this planet Earth. So I have an obligation to love everyone as much as I love myself.
But I'm going to push back on that, because what if you decided to join that community?
Okay.
So that you could grow that community, and then if that community takes over the world and enough people were doing that, then that would be the main principle.
But first of all, I'm not trying to expand my influence. I think within the Jewish world, it's not a religion or a community that tries to expand in size or in influence, at least not officially. Right. Like some religions, and again, I'm not an expert on religions, but I know that some religions aim to grow, aim to have a salvation point where the entire world becomes a part of their religion.
Yeah.
I think Judaism is somewhat different in that sense.
Well, let me open something up to you, because that brought up a good
Yeah.
point. I wasn't planning on talking about this today.
I love it.
But in the book of Isaiah,
Yep.
chapter 49, verse 6, it says here, "Is it too light a thing that you should be my servant, to raise up the tribes of Jacob and bring back the preserved to Israel? I will make you as a light for the nations, that my salvation will reach to the ends of the earth." Meaning that this isn't something that is just for the Jewish people or our own people. This is something that the world needs to hear, that God's salvation actually can reach to the ends of the earth. And you're pretty well intertwined with the evangelical community.
Yep.
And you've met a lot of non-Jewish people that love and worship the God of Israel because of Jesus, right?
Yes.
The Jew from Nazareth.
Yes.
Okay. Do you find that strange at all, or interesting at all, that there's this all these different people groups from all over the world, from Singapore to China,
Yep.
to California, where you just were,
Yep.
to Africa, to Russia,
Yep.
who are all worshiping the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob?
I think it's interesting.
Yeah.
I can't disagree that it's interesting that so many different stories in the history somehow are related to this piece of land.
Yeah. But if you look at this verse,
Yes. We need to be
that
the light
God's servant,
for people. Yeah.
that God, well, yes, but human beings have a problem being the light.
Yes.
because
it's a big responsibility.
Not only a big responsibility, I'm also going to read you another passage because this is something that I believe touches home. Because your platform, Hey Bonds,
Yes.
talks about how to help people communicate better within relationship and improve their relationship.
Yes.
Love better, love more, communicate better, and so on. And maybe there's more to it than that.
Yes. Especially individuals. I think it's built for relationships, but we mainly try to help the individual, because in the end, that's, we're talking about like personal growth and challenging your own morals and values. I think so many times you want to improve your relationship, but when you try to do it together with the partners, it's a bit more challenging. And so many times we need to work on ourselves before we can work in the relationship.
That's why I spent so many years alone. Because I felt like I was okay by myself, but I wasn't good in relationship.
Wow.
And one thing I realized that after some point, I'm like, well, if I don't get into one, I won't be able to
It's the egg and the chicken.
figure it out. So I want to read something to you that's really, really powerful. And I want to hear what
I feel the same, by the way. I got married, I met my partner, I was 36 or 7. And I think looking back at many of my relationships, I probably wasn't ready myself. I wasn't ready for the compromises, for the sacrifice, for the journey I had to go through with myself to accept certain parts of life, that life is, has an end date, and that some experiences I will not be able to go through once I become a dad or when I have a partner. And it was kind of like a process of also letting go of some dreams or thoughts or things that I thought were important. And what I thought was important, today I know wasn't actually that important. Some superficial things that as you mature and learn about life, maybe you realize that are not that important.
Yeah. And you only can find that out really when you get into that relationship and you challenge each other.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden your weaknesses are exposed.
Yes.
And speaking of weaknesses, in the book of Jeremiah is a Hebrew prophet, and so is Isaiah, a Hebrew prophet. There's something that it says here, and I want to get your opinion on it. It says here in Jeremiah 17, verse 9, the human heart, is deceitful above all things and desperately sick. Who can understand it? We'll say things and do things that aren't fully true, aren't fully honest, in order to even improve the relationship.
Yeah. In psychology, it's called rationalization.
Right.
Where you give yourself excuses to why a certain truth that you want to be reality is actually the reality. So you can build different stories and narratives around that.
Exactly. And so I think what I'm trying to point out to you through these verses that you're reminding me of is that the Bible gives a very, very accurate picture of humanity.
Yeah.
I think what's cool about you is that you live a life that many people would call righteous, like you're trying to be righteous, and you're living a life that would seem spiritual, would seem what you call religious, even though people have different opinions about what religion is, that you live a life as if you believe in God, but don't actually proclaim that you do?
First of all, thank you, because I do take it as a compliment, because
Yeah.
I do think that living life with morals and with goals and principles that are aimed to do good in this planet is
Yeah.
something righteous. I believe in that, and that's
great.
maybe what you. But I'm curious. Like,
Yeah.
I just came from the U.S. You
Yeah.
know, do you find differences in how people here in Israel live versus how people in the U.S. in this avenue? Do you feel people here that are not religious live more of a righteous life? And if so, why?
Yeah, I believe what this says, not just because it says it, because of my experience. There are many things that we do in life, like it says here, that the heart is deceitful and deceptive.
Yep, it is.
And so we go through lives kind of manipulating our way through to get to a certain goal. Now, if we were really righteous, there's so many things that we would not do. But we justify them because we call them goals, and we believe that achieving goals is higher than fixing humanity.
Capitalism 101.
Kind of. So I believe that the way that the world is set up and running
Okay.
brings out the worst in people. And that worst in people, you can see it. Like, even if you live in a safe neighborhood, you still lock your car, you still lock your door,
Yeah.
you still wonder, is somebody coming into my house at night? We live in that kind of world. But we're so used to it that it's normal. It's normal to turn on the TV and watch the news and see what? Death and destruction.
Yeah.
So if the world was actually good in general, humanity was actually good, we would be seeing that good in our television shows, in our news broadcasts.
I'm not sure I agree with that,
Yeah.
because in the end I think the way to know what's good is also to experience what's bad. Even as a kid, you need to get burned by the fire to understand that fire is bad for you.
Yes.
So isn't bad a part of our experience as human beings?
Unfortunately.
A way to understand what's good?
Unfortunately, it is
and we need to be reminded about what's bad in order
Right.
to keep reminded about what's good, no?
But I believe that's a defect.
Oh, wait, but
I believe the bad part is a defect in humanity. It's a part of humanity that's sick. It's a part of humanity that's built in now. Like, we're not good, and then occasionally we do something bad. Like, you're saying a kid has to get burned to understand, the heat. I get that. But does someone have to be raped to understand that rape is bad?
definitely not. But okay, I can't say bite after that example, but I will take it to another angle, and I'll say in the end, sometimes the ability to move and to maneuver around the good and the bad is what makes us survive. Even look at the Jewish people, even look at the Christians. Throughout history, we have had to maneuver ourselves through different definitions of what's good and what's right in order to survive. There's the Holocaust, there's war,
right.
There's evil things being done to your people, and then it's justifying, right, the means to an end, so you can do bad things to others,
right.
Because there's collateral damage sometimes is okay because of the circumstances. So I think that flexibility between what's good and what's bad is sometimes a prerequisite to the human being's ability to survive, don't you think?
I do, but I put God in it. Meaning, in the Tanakh talks about how God preserves his people for his sake, for his name's sake. So God is always calling us back to him in the midst of the problems, in the midst of the terror, in the midst of the destruction that happens in this world that's caused by humanity. Now you have a platform, which I love. I love the fact that you're doing this.
Thank you.
Called Hey Bonds.
Yes.
HEYBONDS. And instead of just pointing out that people have a problem, you're actually doing something to help people with this problem that I feel is like built in, right?
Yeah.
So tell everyone watching first, what is Hey Bonds and what problem are you actually trying to solve through it?
Yeah. Long story short, I was dating for a lot of years, also in the dating apps, and I met my wife, Yael, and within 2-3 months, I had a hard time understanding her and understanding myself in the relationship. I didn't really know what to do, and I asked friends, and I asked family, and I even Googled or used AI or saw Instagram videos, but I was really frustrated that all these businesses have great solutions built from innovative platforms and companies, and I was working in American companies before.
Yeah.
But when it comes to one of the most important things in our lives, the relationships, we don't have a tool for that. That's why we built Bonds. It's a psychology-led AI platform that understands your unique relationship dynamics. So,
Interesting.
am I avoidant when I talk about finances? Is she anxious when she talks maybe about her intimacy?
Right.
And then we help individuals not only get insights, but actually they can practice conversations, get on-the-spot feedback about how their tone of voice. Are they empathetic enough? Get reminders about actions. Maybe I should hug her in the morning. Maybe I should listen to her and stop offering solutions. So that's why we build bonds, and it helps you build healthy habits.
Okay.
We believe in the power of communities, and we were looking to work with communities that share our values, that share this desire to help people have healthy relationships in their lives. And from this place, we met the evangelical community, and we know how much this community cares about having deep, healthy communication and relationships
Right.
between different couples.
Right.
So that's why we have the app called Blessed by Bonds. Blessed
Oh.
by Bonds.
Okay.
It's an app exactly like Bonds, but it's built for the evangelical community.
Interesting.
And it includes stories and verses from the Bible. Same logic, but just giving you examples and narratives from your world.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay, I love the fact that that's where your heart is. So what you've actually described about your relationship,
Yes.
I actually was struggling with a lot of the same things.
Yeah.
And I came to a place where I wanted so badly to be good, but I wasn't capable. I couldn't do it. I could adjust my behavior, but I couldn't change my own heart. But that leads me to some more questions
Yes.
because what I said about what you're doing relates to my own story. Do you think people can truly change themselves at the core, at the deepest levels?
I think a lot of people behave a certain way because they don't understand what's driving them, and they're unable to communicate that in a clear, that's cohesive both to themselves and to their partners or to the people around them. So
Yeah.
I don't know if people can change easily. I know people can change. I have seen people change, but I think what's more likely and more easy to do is to be curious enough to get a different perspective about your actions and about the implications of your actions and about how people interpret your behavior
Yeah.
and what it does to others. And the more open we are to listening to others around us that we care about, and even to those that we don't care or that we don't,
Like
or
that.
not friends, be open to improve our perspective of the implications of our actions. I think people can change.
Yeah.
And they'll change not because they've changed, but because their perspective has changed, because their ability to perceive reality has changed.
Okay. What happens to the people that reach a limit? I want to do all these things, but I feel like I've come up against a wall.
Give me an example, I wanna understand.
Okay. A lot of people will try to be a certain success. They'll try to love their spouse as much as they can, but they want to do more for them, and maybe their spouse is asking for that, needing that. Maybe their kids need their dad more or their mom more, and they know it, but they can't seem to give it that. And the person comes to a wall where they say, honestly, I don't think I can do any of that. I want to, but I don't feel I'm capable. And what a lot of people might do in that situation is commit suicide.
Just give up.
Or divorce and leave the kids and do all that stuff. I believe that there's another solution. I realized I couldn't do it myself. And what that led me into was a really downward spiral.
Did you ask help from those around you?
See, that's a great question because that was the first time in my life that I actually asked for help.
And
Yeshua stepped in. Jesus came.
wow.
Now, I'm not talking about religion showed up. I'm not talking about some spiritual practice showed up. I'm talking about the actual figure of Jesus. I saw him suddenly in all of my interactions with people.
Wow.
So I would go to the gym and someone would talk to me. I would leave and someone would hand me a book about him. I would turn on the television and there he was.
Wow.
My wife at the same time was having experiences related to Jesus at the same time because she was like, what do I do with this guy? I need to take the kids and move back to Israel because we were in California. And when we were having this experience and I was at the pit, the bottom, wanting so bad we've been married for 10 years already, I realized I can't get myself out of it. I was in my mid 40s and I was like, this is as good as it gets. I'm not capable of being any better than I am and they need more from me. And that was it, I crumbled and cracked. And then he shows up. About a month and a half later, through people praying for me, through me being in a place of really just negativity, anxiety, depression, and fear, started to feel like I was coming back to life. But this was something that I wasn't doing. I wasn't doing it on my own. It was something that was happening within me. It was a change that was occurring within me. And the only thing that was different in my life was Jesus. Now, as a Jewish family, it was weird. But we didn't want to brush it off and say, oh, this is just, interesting. It has nothing to do with him. It's just, I finally made a breakthrough. It wasn't me. And what we found was this experience that we had, my wife and I and my oldest son at the same time, we found it in Scripture, which was interesting because something happened and then we found it. And we thought, interesting that it would be in here saying that it's supposed to happen to the human being that gives himself over to God. That says, I can't, but you can through me. So that whole thing of I need help. Okay, but do I get help from another broken human being that tries to give me a technique of behavior modification? Or do I need help healing my own heart?
But isn't it philosophical? Because in the end, if you say that God or Jesus comes to us from nature and from our friends and from the work colleague, isn't exposing ourselves to more perspectives and more points of view and opening up and being vulnerable enough to listen to other perspectives and changing from that, isn't that in a way opening up to Jesus? That if someone is closed, it doesn't matter if Jesus comes because they're going to be closed, they're going to be cocooned.
It happens to a lot of people like that. So for instance, if I'm sitting here talking to you about Jesus and you say, well, there are other ways other than Jesus, you're close to Jesus, but you're not close to change.
It's true.
You're not close to development and a better relationship, but you are close to the way.
But maybe Jesus hasn't revealed himself to me yet.
Right.
I'm just talking in your language.
No.
In the language of what you're saying there was a pivotal moment where you felt that Jesus revealed himself to you and to your wife in a way that changed your life.
Right.
So, you know what? I hope that I'm not closed. I think I'm trying always to be an open person, and maybe one day I will become religious.
Yeah, I can say that I changed my life, okay? We were living here in Israel.
Yeah.
I was in a bad space. I said, let's move to California and change our lives.
Wow.
It's gonna be better. We're gonna have this kind of home, we're gonna have these kind of friends, it's gonna be better. We'll see, we'll change. I will change our life. But I didn't change my heart. That was the missing piece. I couldn't do it. I couldn't change my own heart.
So what changed your heart?
And I believe Jesus did. Meaning the actual person of Jesus. Because, and I want to get into something with you that I want to, because I want to make an anchor from within our own scriptures, the Tanakh. And it's from the book of Ezekiel.
Yes.
Ezekiel 36. I will take you from the nations and gather you from all the countries and bring you into your own land. I will sprinkle clean water on you, and you shall be clean from all your uncleanliness. And from all your idols I will cleanse you. And I will give you a new heart, and a new spirit I will put within you, and I will remove the heart of stone from your flesh and give you a heart of flesh. And I will put my spirit within you and cause you to walk in my statutes and be careful to obey my rules. Okay? God gave us commandments of how to have good humanity, good relationships. Obviously stealing, lying, cheating on your wife, all these things, he said it, he's already set the record straight on how to do all of that. We wreck it, but he already set set it in place. But this another Hebrew prophet is talking about how God promises to give us a new heart and put his spirit within us so that we can do the righteous deeds that he has put us here to do, that we're supposed to do, to make humanity a better place.
So that's the change. When you asked me before how people can change,
yes,
you believe it's through salvation.
Through the power of God.
Through the power of God,
not through the power of our own behavior modification. Because I can change my life, I can change my living circumstances, I can change my daily habits, but that doesn't mean that my heart has changed.
I kind of want to agree. I don't think we're contradicting each other.
Yeah.
I think this can coexist because if I'm, as a person, opening my heart to other points of view about what is right, and what my action cause, and where I want to get to, and what would cause me and my surroundings happiness.
Right.
And through that journey, I reveal a certain truth or perspective about something different I should do.
Yeah.
Maybe in your world, I found God. In my world, I connected with myself. And maybe connecting with yourself is finding God, because I think many people in religion say connecting with yourself is okay as a spiritual thing because God is within us.
Okay. I don't disagree with you that behavior modification is good. I don't disagree with you. I believe it is good.
But you're asking,
because
you're challenging the driver.
Yeah, because exactly.
I know, I understand.
So if I'm driving and my heart is broken, not broken like, oh, my heart's broken, but like my heart is broken, like literally broken.
Yeah.
I can't do the right thing. I can do all kinds of behaviors and I should do them. But if I do those things and my heart still isn't fixed, isn't mended, isn't right with God, it's really only a matter of time until I get tired of the physical, energetic expression of this change.
Because you're forcing yourself, because you're not
Good.
doing it from a good place.
Okay.
But again,
I think you could still do it from a good place.
But it's not from within you. You're doing it to serve something that maybe isn't helping you meet your own needs. So if you're, for example, telling your wife you love her,
Yeah.
and it's not going to sustain because it's not something that's natural for you and it's not something that makes you feel good, and
Right.
it's going to break over time, then I think it's important to understand why. Why?
Yes.
And maybe even tell her, hey,
Right.
I noticed that when I tell you I love you, I'm actually going to sit in my room after that, because for some reason when I tell you I love you, it's making me want to be away from you. And I still don't know why, but I wanted you to know that I noticed this behavior in myself.
Yeah.
And I think that self-observance is a path to salvation when it comes to improving all kinds of relationships.
Okay, I think that I would agree that it can help improve your relationship, absolutely. Because there was a time period where my wife actually said, Jeff, you did try a lot and you tried hard and it did help. It did help. But it was temporary because at some point you cracked under the weight
It wasn't
of it all.
it wasn't sustainable.
It wasn't sustainable. Exactly. I love that. That's a great point. I want to read to you from Jeremiah.
Please.
You see, what does this say here? These three words.
The new covenant.
Yes, and in Hebrew, what is that?
הברית החדשה, לא?
Brit Hadashah, right. So it says here, behold, the days are coming, declares the Lord. Well, I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and the house of Judah, not like the covenant that I made with their fathers on the day when I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt. Okay, so what covenant are they talking about? The Sinai covenant.
Yeah.
Okay. My covenant that they broke. Okay. Though I was the husband, declares the Lord. For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, declares the Lord. I will put my law within them. I will write it on their hearts, and I will be their God, and they will be my people. And no longer shall each one teach his neighbor and each other brother, saying, know the Lord, for they shall all know me, from the least of them to the greatest, declares the Lord. For I will forgive their iniquity, and I will remember their sin no more. So when we were talking earlier about a worldwide population of non-Jewish people
Yes.
and Jewish people
Yes.
that know Jesus, who've had their sins forgiven and honor and worship the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, you are seeing this actually come to its fulfillment. It's in the process of coming to the fulfillment when God says, I'll put my law within them and write it on their hearts, and they will be my people. They will all know me from the least to the greatest. Who knew the God of Israel 2,000 years ago? A very small population.
Yeah, the Jewish population.
And some surrounding neighbors. Who knows him today?
Everyone.
Billions. And through history, billions. You see this coming to pass. For I will forgive their iniquity and remember their sin no more. So what we're seeing a pattern of new heart, new spirit, God's law written inside of us, and forgiveness of sins. But there's a way to effectuate that change that doesn't involve behavior modification, but an openness to who he is and what he has for us.
And I think one of the beautiful things in what you just said is that, you as a community believe that by self-educating, by investigating, by learning about not only the history, but by the teachings of the new prophecy, the new covenant, as well as the older ones, you are actually in the journey of self-fulfilling your new heart, being, reborn in a way.
Okay.
And I think what we're trying to do and what we're building is we're trying to say, we respect your approach so much that we actually are trying to make available your life, your challenges, what you're going through, through the stories from your own book. And in a way, it's making it easier for people to find the relevant, because not everybody's like you, Jeff, that, I tell you book this and the chapter that, you probably know all the stories by heart, but a lot of people need help finding the relevant story that will touch their heart and make them realize what they need to change. So I think that's what we're trying to do with Blessed by Bonds, bringing that relevant story. You're going to love this. It says like 2 sentences, and then it says, like Luke and Martha said in verse na. So it really finds your story and ties it to an actual story in the Bible.
I love that. What I'm trying to say is that I believe that the answers aren't in here, and they're not in here. I believe they're in here.
Yes.
The Word of God.
I understand. The more you read this, the more you understand the context, the more it lights your ability to change and to look at things in the right way.
Yes, but what I'm actually emphasizing is the fact that the change doesn't come from us, it comes from Him.
I understand.
And us saying, I can't, but you can. There's something very defeating in the human mind when we say we can't. And nobody wants to be that person that says, I can't.
No.
But that's when actually God says, now I have somebody to work with. Because He's been rejecting the source of His creation. The power that He gets is from me. The good that He gets is from me. And if He wants more of that, come to me. And you said something about being born again. And so I wanted to read something from the actual New Testament, the Brit Hadashah, that was promised. Jesus is speaking with a rabbi called Nicodemus. And he says here, now there was a man of the Pharisees named Nicodemus, a ruler of the Jews. This man came to Jesus by night and said to him, Rabbi, this rabbi said to Jesus, Rabbi, we know that you're a teacher come from God, for no one can do these things, these signs that you do unless God is with him. Jesus answered him, truly, truly, I say to you, unless one is born again, he cannot see the kingdom of God. Nicodemus said to him, how can a man be born when he's old? Can he enter a second time into his mother's womb and be born? Jesus answered, truly, truly, I say to you, unless one is born of water and the Spirit, he cannot enter the kingdom of God. Now, why does this make sense to a Jewish Pharisee? Because they've used water for centuries for cleansing. Okay? Unless one is cleansed and purified, born again of the Spirit of God, you cannot see the kingdom of God. So there's an element of helping human behavior and interactions, which I love. And I believe it's necessary, which is why I'm cool with you promoting your Blessed by Bonds on the channel. But I believe that the missing piece is not behavior modification, it's transformation. And transformation that comes from the Spirit of God into our hearts, changing our heart from the inside out. So that what happens is we get better relationships, we get better marriage. My wife has the husband that she wants, and the kids have the father that they need, not because of something that I did, but because of something that he did. And that's why I do what I do here, because I want to glorify him and not myself.
I get it.
Not look what I did.
The answer is here. The answer in your world is based on what's written here, Jesus and God's guidance to us. I think what we're trying to do is we're saying we respect that. We're just trying to give you the access and the tools so that we can help make your journey to find that relevant story and that relevant verse to your life. Because so many people, maybe like you said, don't have the patience, don't have the time, don't have the self-discipline to open the book. Maybe they're busy. They need to make a living. They need to, their baby is crying, the wife needs help.
I know.
So maybe by making things available to them, we can help them follow their journey of revelation, of being reborn by making things accessible and easy to find.
I think that's great. There's something that I want to offer you. What do you prefer to read in Hebrew or in English?
Depends what.
The New Testament.
Okay.
What would you prefer to read it in? Your mother tongue?
First of all, I don't read so much, but let's... wow, okay.
Open the first page.
Okay.
And read the first sentence to me.
Yes. I can read it in English as well.
Sounds good. I know you can.
I'll do my best.
Your English is great.
With my Israeli accent.
It's not that strong. So read the first, just the first like 2 verses.
Of course. This is the genealogy of Yeshua the Messiah, the son of David, the son of Abraham. Abraham was the father of Isaac, Isaac the father of Jacob, Jacob the father of Judah and his brothers.
Right.
Judah, the father of Peretz, and Zerah, whose mother was Tamar.
So this goes on and on and on.
Yeah, it's just
right?
ancestry.
But it actually gets to Jesus.
At the end, it's Jesus.
Yeah, at the end, it's Jesus. And what is this telling you? Like, if you
That
have
we are all descendants of Jesus,
no, Jesus is a descendant of David and Abraham,
which is from the Bible.
which is prophesied that he's supposed to be that, to come from that line. And these all point to God's fulfilling his promise to reunite us all with him, okay? And so what this starts off with is this Yeshua is not foreign to you. This Yeshua is from your people and fulfills the promises that God made all the way back in Genesis when Adam and Eve broke their covenant with him, with God.
Yes.
And God says, well, I'm going to make a way for us to be reunited again. And the whole story of the Tanakh points to this, the new covenant, which is promised in us in Jeremiah 31, which I read to you.
Which now I got.
So, exactly.
Now I have the answer.
You have the answer. So I want to give this you can take whichever one you want.
the English.
Or
I'll
even
tell
both.
you, this is a special moment because you know what? I was walking in the streets 2 months ago and I met you.
Yeah.
And my connection to you was through something that I had a personal drive in.
Yeah.
And I think your connection to me was something you have a personal drive in, which is sharing your story,
to make
sharing your
him known,
journey.
to make Jesus known.
So this is a moment where you're giving me something, and I want to thank you.
You're welcome.
Because it's a special moment, and I'm sorry I didn't give you anything back. I'll give you access to my app for free. It's not as good.
I'm going to check out your app.
I'm going
to check out your app. But I want you to read through this.
I will.
I want
I'm not a reader, but
I know you are.
Let's do this. Before next time we meet, I'm going to read at least, you tell me how much.
What I want to say is you can start with the book of John. Okay, so there's Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John.
Yeah.
The Gospels are the eyewitness testimonies of who Jesus was and what happened to what his goal and purpose was here on earth. Because I want you to meet him. Read like the first few chapters.
Okay.
Don't make it so, don't
Yeah, it's gonna be.
But I know you're not a reader.
I'm not a reader, but I love knowledge. It's just hard for me to read.
Right. What you could do is you could go to the audiobook of the Bible and listen to it.
Yeah,
okay?
It's easier for me.
I believe that behavior modification, the necessary tools, I mean, Christian couples go to therapy all the time.
I know.
All the time.
I know.
And they're given guidance.
Yes.
It's biblical guidance, but it's also practical guidance.
Yes.
And I believe that you are giving a very practical way for couples to be better. But this gives the way that your heart can be changed and that you can experience a life and a relationship that you've never had before through a transformation instead of behavior modification only.
I get it.
So I want to introduce you to
It's a bit like the difference between medicine and a cure for the disease. Like
very good.
You know, so I think
very good.
What we're doing is we're giving you pieces of medicine and we're telling you, hey, here's the source of this piece of medicine. And I think the way I see Blessed by Bonds being used by the masses is we're going to give you access to those pieces of habits and rituals and small things you can do.
Yeah.
But over time, probably we're going to help you identify verses or stories that you're going to be more curious to learn about.
I love it.
And that's what's going to inspire you to probably self-educate.
Yes, and because you made Blessed by Bonds specific to the Christian community.
Yes, evangelically.
They can go check that out.
Yes.
And see how the Bible actually points towards the solution.
Yes.
I love that.
Yes.
I love that. So I'm going to recommend to the audience that you check out Blessed by Bonds. And I'm going to put the links to that in the description. So do you actually have a YouTube channel for?
Yeah, we do. It's called Hey Bonds.
Hey Bonds. Okay, so we can do the collaboration link? Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
So you can check Lior's website. You can check out his YouTube channel and his new apps.
Yes,
right?
Blessed by Bonds.
And I also want to encourage you to pray for him, to pray for his salvation, that he would come to know Messiah, that he would come to have a personal relationship with the living God. So that element will be, your heart can be healed, restored, and imagine the power that can bring to this platform when you have that actual testimony. And so I want to pray for you, and I'm just so thankful that you were here to meet with me.
Thank you for having me.
I'm going to pray for you right now. Heavenly Father, I pray for Lior. I pray for his marriage. I pray that you lift him up in this time, that you inspire him to read or listen to your word. I pray that you show him that yes, we are sinful human beings and that we need reconciliation with you, and that we long to be with you for eternity, which is what you promise and offer us through faith in Yeshua. I pray that he recognizes that, Lord, that he comes to know you personally, salvifically, and he receives that new heart and new spirit that you promise that you give. B'Shem Yeshua Mashiach, in Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bless you, brother.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anything else you want to say to the audience while we're finishing up?
I just want to say thank you, and I feel blessed, like, just to know you
Thank you.
to, like, I think through you and through others that I'm going in this journey, I'm getting to know so many new things about life and about how to look at life and about how to look at the path we go through in life.
Amazing. A lot of people are going to be praying for you.
Thank you, and I do want to ask those that try the app to give us feedback as well, because we chose this community out of so many other communities we could have, because we feel how important this cause is for you.
Amazing.
So by giving us feedback, you're going to help us build an even better experience. In the end, we want to give you the best solution we can for what you want to do.
I love it. And I believe, honestly, Lior, that you've been drawn into this community for a higher reason.
Yeah, perhaps.
I believe it.
Time will tell.
All right, brother. Next time I see you, we're going to talk about what you read or heard.
Okay.
All right, my man?
Done.
All right. God bless you, man.
Cool. Thank you.